We want to welcome everyone to the Unity 8.0 webinar today. We're very excited to share some of the details of our latest release with you today. And my name is John Binda, and I'm a Senior Account Executive here at Intellective. I will be joined today by Rich Levins, who is a Solutions Director, and Rich will be walking us through the demo today. We're going to start by sharing a high-level presentation on our company, along with our products and services, followed by a full demonstration of Unity 8.0. And also during the presentation, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A feature here in Zoom at the bottom of your screen. We'll do our best to answer these questions as they come up, and we'll make sure to save some time at the end of the presentation also for any additional questions. But thanks for joining, and I guess we'll get started. I'll go to the next slide and get things kicked off. I know that many of you are familiar with Intellective and Unity. We've got customers, prospects, and new people on the call today, so I thought it'd be just good to give you a quick overview. And just to give everyone some background, since 2005, Intellective has been solving the complex challenges that come with digital transformation, working with many of the Fortune 1000 companies. Right now, we have about 150 technology experts located in about 5 offices around the globe. And really, our staff has many years of experience in ECM, BPM, and case management implementations with a very strong focus on integrating disparate systems. We've worked very hard here at Intellective to build a successful company culture. We place a lot of importance on customer success and thought leadership. And also, Intellective has partnered with some of the top technology companies in the world, including IBM, Microsoft, Salesforce, Box, and more recently OpenText and Encino, which is built for the banking vertical. We've also been recognized by the Workflow Management Coalition for our excellence in case management with the award at the bottom right of your screen. That's just a quick snapshot of Intellective. And maybe on our next slide, we can talk about some of the clients that we've worked with over the time. And we're really kind of focused in even though we work with multiple industries, we kind of fell into 4 specific areas or more of a focus on these areas. One is in healthcare, one is in insurance, one is in government, and the last is banking and finance. Within healthcare, we've worked with many of the Blue Cross Blue Shield organizations around the globe, and along with the United Health Group and Optum. On the insurance side, working with companies like Chubb, Prudential, Pacific Life, and many others. And on the government side, working with such organizations as the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission and many state government organizations. Deepest experience probably comes on the banking and finance side. We've worked with a lot of great organizations like the Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase. But you can see here, we're well represented in all 4 of these areas. And again, we have experience working in very large and complex implementations with many of these organizations. The next slide, I always like to say, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and this will really kind of helps us illustrate how Unity works. In the middle, you have a standalone Unity and or popular business applications such as CRM, which I already mentioned, Salesforce and Microsoft. And Unity is then able to provide full 2-way integration for documents, data, and workflows from a variety of different applications. In the wheel here on the outside, we show the IBM suite of products, including FileNet and Case Manager. We also show Alfresco, SharePoint, and Box, along with Red Hat and JPPM, which is an open source workflow management system. We can also integrate with other CMIS compatible ECM solutions and other enterprise applications. So really, there's no limits. We have some of these pre-built out of the box integrations, but we really help our clients tie together multiple systems across ECM, BPM, and case management capabilities. And finally, at the very top, we add process analytics to give you actionable analytics based on data coming from all these different systems. So this is really kind of a nice way to illustrate how Unity works, and whether you're using Unity standalone or embedding this in your business applications, you're putting this valuable information at the fingertips of your users, and that's really what the value of Unity is. On the next slide, we'll talk about some specific benefits of using Unity. Obviously, I mentioned already connecting multiple ECM and BPM systems to a single business application. Also connecting multiple ECM and BPM systems to a CRM system like Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics. And Unity also helps with migration projects for content and processes as well. And finally, Unity provides a single content and process source, pulling data from multiple sources. So these are some of the ways we've helped our clients, and these are some of the large-scale projects we've worked on. Some of them very complex, but hopefully Unity can be that missing piece of the puzzle to bring all this information together. When we talk about the products that are made available by Intellective, Unity is available as a standalone product. We talked about the Unity for Microsoft Dynamics, which is out of the box integration, and Unity for Salesforce. Also, these products are available on the Salesforce Exchange and the Dynamics product page. And also now we've added Unity for Encino, the banking vertical product I mentioned earlier. And Interchange is used for migration projects primarily, and that's something we help a lot of clients with as well. So you can see on the right side, it's kind of a high-level description of how Unity works in more detail than just the wheel provided originally. At the top, we see Unity for enterprise search and analytics. And what Unity does, it crawls and indexes documents and data from multiple applications and data sources. The enterprise search checks the indexes first and does not hit the ECMs directly, speeding up the process for the end users. This allows them to quickly find and take action on any documents and really any amount of data they need access to. Metadata from a single ECM system can also be combined with data from other applications. So really, again, everything's sitting at the top, and that includes the analytics and all the data available for a quick search is all made available through Unity, and we can connect to just about any type of application or database you have out there, whether it's on-premise or in the cloud. And I know we have some questions coming in already, so Rich, maybe we'll pause here and answer the first question, specifically what applications or ECM platforms do you integrate with? I can probably take this question. I mentioned some of the products we already integrate with, IBM FileNet, we mentioned OpenText, Box, SharePoint, and now we have capabilities to work with some of the products from Highland. And again, I mentioned any CMIS compatible product can be integrated with the Unity. So we do offer quite a few out-of-the-box solutions for those popular ECM solutions, but many of our clients have multiple ECM solutions, many of which are on that list, but also some that may not be part of that list. So again, the more complex the situation, the better off customers are using Unity. So with that, I want to kind of pause here and again mention that if you have any questions, please add them to the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. We'll try to get to as many of those questions as we can, but we'll certainly try to leave time at the end of the presentation to address those questions as well. And now I'll turn it over to Rich Levins, who will actually walk us through a few slides describing Unity and then launch into the demonstration. Rich?
Hey, thanks, John. My name is Rich Levins. I'm a Solutions Director at Intellective. And for this webinar, we're going to focus on Unity 8.0, our new release, with its SharePoint capabilities. As John indicated, Unity supports multiple ECMs and BPM platforms, but for the webinar and the demo, we're going to focus on SharePoint. Intellective uses SharePoint for its own internal content, and we've organized our documents across multiple different SharePoint sites. And one of the challenges that we found is locating the documents within SharePoint. SharePoint does give us the capability to search across the entire instance and multiple sites, or it gives us the ability to search across a specific site, but it doesn't give us the ability to select sites. So very often, either if we're trying to find a document, we do a search across the whole enterprise, it may return a really broad set of documents, which we then have to fish through to find our documents. Or we might select a specific site and then the result set is too narrow and the documents aren't there. So with Unity 8.0, we kind of met this challenge by allowing the user, giving them more control to select which sites they want to basically perform the search on. And what you see on the left-hand side is basically all repositories. And as I indicated, we're focused on SharePoint. And for the pre-configured demo, what we've done today and what we provide on a trial basis is access to this SharePoint instance with these demo sites, one for finance, HR, marketing, and sales. But as I indicated, Unity can support multiple repositories, which is very powerful because what it means is that if you're using SharePoint with FileNet or OpenText or Box or Alfresco or any CMIS supported ECM, a user can execute a single search from the All Repositories node, and we will find the document across all these repositories. So the user doesn't need to be burdened or know where the documents reside. We'll just go out and find it. And this obviously begs the question about security. Security is part of this. So the security that is in these underlying ECM, SharePoint, FileNet, OpenText, Box, all of that is basically supported in Unity. So if a user cannot access the document in SharePoint or FileNet or OpenText, they won't be able to access it in Unity as well. And that also goes with the additional actions that users can perform in those different ECMs. If they have access to it in that ECM, then they'll have access to it in Unity.
It's interesting, Richard, you mentioned the multiple repositories because many of our clients, whether it's through acquisitions or just legacy systems that have never been retired, end up with these multiple repositories and no easy single way to connect all of them in one kind of place.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong point of the Unity solution. So with SharePoint, SharePoint gives us this easy single search field. And what it's doing behind the scenes is it's breaking that single search criteria field into components where it's searching on anything that has that search criteria either in the title of the document or the content of the document. And that's really powerful, but sometimes that could provide too many results. And the user really can't easily control that. But with Unity 8.0, they can. We give more control and more power into the end user's hands. So they can use our advanced search panel. And anytime they enter a simple search, it's automatically populated into the title and content. And then the user can modify that. So if they're saying, I'm seeing too many results when I'm searching on Unity, I'm going to take Unity out of the content, doc content, and only search where my search criteria Unity is in the title of the document. Or they can change the operator. Instead of saying, I want any document that has Unity in the title or the content, you can change that to an and. So the search criteria has to be present in both the title and the content, which is going to limit the number of results, allowing the user to find the content much faster.
I know, Rich, we talked to a prospect recently that said some of their underwriters spent at least 15 to 20% of their time actually searching for documents. So if we can save even half that time, that's a huge savings for the company. But it's through these advanced search capabilities so they can get to the documents faster. And really, they don't even have to think where they're stored. They're accessing all these documents from different repositories.
Exactly. And we're giving them more power and more control to do that than they can with out-of-the-box SharePoint. The other thing that we do is we give the users more control over the search results. So with Unity 8.0, the user can control what fields are visible in the search results simply by selecting the gear icon and then changing the visibility switch on the fields. And we also basically expose not only the out-of-the-box fields in SharePoint, but also any custom fields. The other thing the user can do in the customized columns UI is they can drag and drop fields in any order they want. So they can simply say, if I want to see, doc title as the first, they can simply drag and drop that and becomes the first column. So a lot of control over what they can basically, what columns are displayed and the order they're displayed. They also have a lot more power and control over sorting the results. So yes, we provide the basic sort capabilities where you can select a column and it'll sort ascending. If you select it again, it'll sort descending. But we also provide capabilities to sort on multiple fields. So in this example here on the screen print, you see that doc title has a number 1 next to it and date modified has number 2, meaning doc title is the primary sort and then date modified is the secondary sort. And if I want to change around the order of that, I don't have to remove it and start from scratch. I can simply promote date modified to number 1 and it'll automatically drop doc title to number 2. So a lot of power and control put into the end user's hands on what columns they see, the order, and how they sort those search results.
And Rich, this is John. Another question came through the chat. It kind of something you already covered. Maybe they need clarification. If the question is, can you use any field in SharePoint to link or retrieve content from ECM. I guess that includes custom fields, but maybe just a clarification point. I think you kind of covered that in the slide.
Yeah, so very often in SharePoint, organizations will define custom fields, but then they can't use them very well. With Unity 8.0, as soon as we deploy it, we configure it for those custom fields, they're available. They're available not only in these search columns, but also you can search on them, and we're going to get to that in a second. But yes, any custom fields you've defined in SharePoint can be exposed in Unity.
Perfect, thanks.
Sure. And here we are. good lead in. Custom fields. So here, basically in our advanced search panel, we have we're displaying the custom fields. We've defined two here for the pre-configured demo. One is doc type, it's a choice list, and one is organization name, which is simply a string field. And you can see here, the user can both search on those fields as well as expose them in the search results. So those custom fields that you're defining in SharePoint, we take advantage of for both searching and seeing in the results.
And Rich, this may look a little bit complex looking at the screenshots. When we get to the demo itself, it'll kind of give you the end user perspective to do the advanced searches. And once you start using the tool, those advanced searches happen a lot faster. You can save some of those searches. And again, the whole key is to save time for the end user to get access to the documents they need to do their jobs. And we'll see that when we get to the demonstration piece later in the presentation.
Sure. Basically, what we're doing is we're highlighting what we're going to show you in the demo here. What you're seeing on this screen is exactly what John was just referencing, favorites and save searches. So you can tag any document you want as a favorite, and when you sign on to Unity, we will display the favorites. And you can return to them by selecting the favorites menu item in the user settings menu. But
actually,
we also—
Rich, if I could just pause you for a second. The questions are kind of coming in rapid, and it's kind of timely because the next question is a question about sharing favorited lists within SharePoint. Can users share their favorited lists with each other?
It's something that it's not available at this moment, but it is something on our roadmap to add the favorites in there to be able to share favorites and save searches. Okay, right now for the 8.0 release, it's only for the specific user, but that is on our roadmap. The other thing is save searches. So we have this advanced panel that allows users to search on a number of fields: title, content, file type, modified date, custom fields, SharePoint sites. The idea with save searches is that if you're formulating that search, you're putting in all that information to find your documents. If you're going to use that search again, you shouldn't have to re-enter the data over and over again. So you can enter your the search criteria in the event search, and then say save as. And basically you see here under save searches, there's customer PDFs, employee documents, and partner presentations. If you select that from your save search, it's going to basically pre-populate the advanced screen and execute the search automatically for you. So sharing favorites and save searches is definitely something that's on our roadmap. This is another great feature that I love. So in Unity 8.0, you can execute multiple searches and you can append the results in a consolidated list. So in this example here, the user searched on the word digital, and it's returned search results, and they've selected, in this case, 3 documents. Now they said, okay, I have that, but now I want to search on the word business. And they do that, and they select more documents. Now they can keep on going. They can search 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter, a number of times. When they're done, they can say, I want to see this consolidated list, click on the details view, and all the documents that they've selected across multiple searches are displayed in a consolidated list. Great feature and function when you're searching for content multiple ways, and you want to basically see all those results combined. This feature basically meets that.
Just having to do this, different searches over and over again, just do them all and combine the documents in one place. That's really nice.
Exactly. And you talked about this earlier, embedding Unity into your high-use applications. So we've embedded Unity out of the box in Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics, and in Salesforce. But Unity can be placed, these Unity capabilities that you're seeing today can be placed in any high-use application. And the goal here is that if the user's in Dynamics or they're in Salesforce, most business managers, they want them to stay in those applications. They don't want them to have to swivel chair over and search for documents in SharePoint or search from FileNet or OpenText. They want to keep the user basically heads down on that high use application. So the ability to embed Unity capabilities directly in those high use applications is a huge benefit.
Yeah, we get that question from customers a lot, Rich, is that, that's great for my Salesforce users, but what about my people in HR, my people in other other departments? Can they access it? And the answer is yes, in the standalone Unity, or we can embed this in their specific application for the line of business. And I think that's when the light bulb goes off, that everyone can have this kind of access, independent of what application they're using.
Correct. Okay, so that's it. So we didn't want to throw too many slides at you. Going to get on with the demos. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to just.
But I would encourage the group to keep adding questions. We've already had a few good ones, and again, we'll be able to answer some of these as we go, but also save time at the end of the presentation to also address any additional questions that come up.
Okay. So when I log on to Unity, this is what I would see. I would see my favorites by default. And basically, the Unity slide deck that we're showing now, that was one of my favorites. And you see here, if I click on basically the ellipsis, I can see a drop-down list of actions. Favorite tagging is one of them. So anything that has a gold star means it's been tagged as a favorite. And if I want to untag it as a favorite, really simple. Just select it, and then basically action completes, and then it's removed. If I want to add it back, I can just come in here, search on it, find it. Now you see it's an empty star. Click on it again, return back to my user navigation menu, click on favorites, and here it is. Okay, so now I want to start talking about this the tree view on the left. And as I said, the focus today is on SharePoint, and we've pre-configured for this demo a SharePoint instance with these 4 SharePoint sites: finance, HR, marketing, and sales. And just to remind everyone, even though the focus now is on SharePoint, we support multiple repositories. So if we had multiple repositories configured for this, we would basically be able to search across all of those repositories or browse across all those repositories from one UI, which is super powerful. Okay.
It also can be complex even with SharePoint, with multiple sites and multiple instances. So even using SharePoint, it might sound like it's simple, but for a lot of companies, they have many different sites and many different instances of SharePoint across the organization.
Well, at least I know in our uses of SharePoint, when I have to go site by site, it's bouncing me to one page for finance, another site page for HR. I really can't see it all combined in one list and be able to navigate it as easily as I can do here. So it's a feature that I love. So let's say you're an HR user and you come in here and you want to browse. So basically you can expand the HR, and this is going to show me all the folders that I have in SharePoint. And whenever I select a folder, it's going to show me the contents of that folder plus all the subfolders that are underneath it. And if I want to navigate down to a subfolder, that's the lowest in line, then I'm just going to see the documents in that one. So navigation across sites when you have access to multiple sites is really easy and powerful because you don't have to jump to one site page to another site page. It's all combined for you. So let's basically talk about now searching. So let's say I want to search on, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to search on the top for Intellective. And that's going to return a whole bunch of documents. But let's say I'm in finance and I want to narrow this down. The integration between the searching and the tree view is really great because it allows me to, whatever I'm searching on and whatever I selected in the tree view works in unison. So if I select the finance site, whatever I searched on is now restricted to the finance site. If I keep on going down and I say, okay, I want to search, finance is great, but it's too many documents. If I say financial statements, now my search on Intellective is basically restricted to what's in the financial statement folders and any folders below that. So if I basically come down and select 2018, now my search is basically working with the selection. So searching and the selection of the site and the folder on the left-hand side panel is very integrated, tightly integrated, and it's an easy way to search and navigate at the same time.
We can
So
also point out too, what's the performance here of searching a few documents or literally hundreds of documents is very quick because of the indexing. And again, that's a huge time saver for end users. You might have access to all these folders, but if you can see how quickly we're loading these documents and how quickly they're displayed, that's a huge time saver as well.
right. So the next thing I'd like to do is show the advanced search capabilities. So I'm going to search on the word on the phrase state, and I'm searching across everything, so it's returning a whole bunch of documents. But now what I want to do is I want to basically click on my advanced search icon, open up my advanced search panel. And like we mentioned earlier in the slide deck, whenever I search on state, whatever I put here gets automatically populated in the title and the content of the document. And very often in SharePoint, that can return too many documents. And it makes me have to fish through all these documents to find the ones I want. With Unity 8.0, I have more control. I can basically say, you know what, too many documents. I just want to look for documents that have state in the title. And I basically come here, search, and now my documents, now the list is restricted to only documents that have state in the title. But I can keep on going. So if I want to say, okay, that's great, but I only really am interested in Adobe documents and Word documents. So I can select that, search on that, and it's going to restrict it to just Word and Adobe documents. The next thing I can do is sites. So I see here that I have documents in HR, sales, and finance sites. So if I want to, I can say, I know I'm just looking for documents in finance and sales. Select that, and when I search. Now notice that not only did that search restrict it, the result set to finance and sales, but on the left-hand side, it's also modified my tree view. So now I'm only looking at finance and sales. So the advanced search panel works with the tree view and the search results all in unison. So it basically keeps everything in sync.
It's kind of funny, Rich, we keep talking about performance, but I'd love to run a side-by-side comparison of this versus their current way of finding documents. And just with a few clicks here, we've gone from 1,000 documents down to about 5. And I can't imagine how much time it would take people to do that today. But really, this is where I keep going back to this being a huge time saver for the end users.
Right. And you mentioned earlier, someone had a question about custom fields. So here you see in the advanced search panel, we basically expanded the custom fields box, and for the pre-configured demo, we've basically pre-configured 2 custom fields, one for doc type, which is a choice list, and one for organization name. So if I basically come in here and I select bank statements, and I then execute my search on this, it's only going to return documents that have bank statements in there. So those custom fields, I can use them both in my searching as well as in my search results. And now let's say I need to say a finance person, and I need to execute the search again and again. I don't want to have to enter this stuff over and over again. I can simply come up here and say save as and put in bank statements and select save. Now if I reset my search, close this, come to my user navigation menu, I see I have my saved bank statement search. If I select that, it's going to open up the advanced search panel. It's going to pre-populate it with all my search criteria and execute my search. So a lot of power in the advanced searching capabilities and in the ability to save that and reuse those searches over and over again. Okay. So I'm going to now switch modes here and going to talk about other usability features. So I'm going to search on Intellective here. And I'm going to come here and click on my gear icon and go to my grid columns. So here, basically, I have my grid columns. And if I want to, I can basically expose more fields. So the visibility is clicked on for right now for file type, document title, location, and doc type. So if I want to expose other fields to my UI, let's say I want created by, and let's say modified, date modified. But let's say I also want to change the order of stuff around. Let's say I want date modified to appear under location, right after location. I can simply drag and drop it. And now when I hit apply, now I see all those fields exposed on my screen. So the end user can control with just a few clicks what they can, what columns are visible. The other usability feature that I like, because I've been staring at a computer screen for most of my career, is the grid density. So it basically, you, like me, need glasses to see your screen. You can basically spread it out, or if you like a tighter resolution, you can go compact and see more. But this allows, a nice usability feature for the user and how they basically look at the search results, how tightly packed they are or how wide they are.
And Richard, I know we've talked to other prospects and customers too that say that all the users want to see this information a little bit differently. And this is a great way to do that. So each user can have their own view and their own way of sorting these documents. And I think people like that because they get a lot of requests from the end users, and here they can answer a lot of them just by the kind of view configuration you just showed us.
Yep. So let's talk about sorting now for a second. So as we said earlier, simple sorting, you can just select a column and it will sort ascending. You can select it again and it'll sort descending. Very simple. But let me remove that sort for a second. You can also basically sort. You can do that by selecting sort ascending. And now watch, if I select sort descending on this, you see that it's put date modified here as basically number 1, and it's put a document title as number 2. Now, if I want to flip that order around, I don't have to remove everything and start over. I can simply come over here and say promote, and now doc title becomes the primary sort and date modify becomes the secondary sort. And I'm not limited to 2 fields. I can basically do that for as many number of fields as I want. So very powerful capabilities in terms of what fields are displayed in search results, what order they're displayed in, how dense or how wide they displayed, also how I sort it. So let me go ahead and remove this for a second. And now what I'm going to do is talk about actions. So when you select a row, a search result row, you see the 3 dots come up. If I select this, I have all these different actions I can do on content. I can open it in the browser. I can open it in the app. So let's see how that looks. So I basically click on app. It's going to open up Microsoft Word, and there's my document. Other actions I could show you of interest. Opening in the browser is the same. It's just in the browser. Copy a link, download, delete, rename. Oh, move and copy to. This one I really like, because in SharePoint, I find if I need to move a document or copy a document to another site that has a detailed folders list, I have to click. It just drives me crazy on how long it takes to move or copy a document. With Unity 8.0, it's simple. So let's say I have this HR document and I want to move it to a location in, let's say, finance. I can simply take the document, drag and drop it, and then boom, I can select move to or copy to, and that will move or copy to it. So really easy way to move and copy documents. What else? Oh, the details view. So if I click on the details view, this gives me a lot of information about the document. So I could basically, I can see the path where the document is. I can basically click on this and open it in the browser. I can download it. I can open it in the app. I see all the properties, the custom properties, and I can modify these custom properties from here. I also see file information. In the versions tab, I also see the versions of the document. This document happens to have 2 separate versions, but it would show all the versions of the document. So the document details view is a very powerful view. And now I think one of the last things I wanted to do was show the multiple searches where we can append search results. So I'm just going to clear this for a second, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to search on 2020.
Maybe, Rich, we can go back and revisit the security of Unity. And I know some of the people have already questioned that, but with does it require SSO? And obviously we're showing all these documents, but a normal user wouldn't necessarily have access to all these documents. So I think the rules that a company has currently in place could be also used within Unity. And I think a lot of course, enterprise companies have very strict guidelines on who can access what documents, but if they have that policy we can mirror that, I'm assuming, here in Unity as well.
That is the default behavior. So if whatever the security is in SharePoint, in FileNet and OpenText, that's the security that Unity is providing. If you do not have the access to see the documents in SharePoint, you won't have it when through Unity either. So Unity is basically inheriting the security in the underlying content repository, as well as what actions the user can take on that content. So
that's important with a lot of financial service companies or banks. It's across multiple industries, but I think we hear that a lot from compliance and regulatory issues as well.
Exactly. So here I've executed a search on 2020, and I'm going to select a couple of documents. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to select that document, I'm going to select, let's say, this one and this Adobe document. And you see here, it's tracking the number of documents I selected, and there are actions. Like if I click on this, I can perform these actions on multiple selected documents. I can download them, I can move, I can copy to them. I also have export features I can take. So if I want to export the search result columns, either all of the columns, but even the ones not displayed, I can do that, or just the current displayed ones, I can do that, and it basically exports it down into a CSV file. But what I want to show here, so I'll say I executed a search on 2020, I've selected a few documents, now I want to execute another search on 2021. So I execute that search, and now I'm going to select a few more documents. So I've selected 6 documents, and I can keep going. I can do more searches, but now if I click on the details view, basically what you see is you see all of those documents are now combined in a consolidated list. So if I need to do multiple searches and then combine all the documents together that I search on, you can use Unity to do that. And
again, a big time saver. If you're going to go through the trouble of searching all these documents to have one place to view them all, that's pretty special as well.
Exactly. So I'm going to go back here to deselect my documents, clear my search, and that's pretty much it. So what I like to do now is return back to the deck and talk about deployment capabilities. Unless there are other questions that you want me to answer at this point, John?
I think we are still getting some questions on the Q&A, but I think if they're not specific to what we're talking about, we'll save those for the end of the call.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
But there have been some questions about how this is deployed, and I think there's going to be some questions about that. So maybe this is timely too that we're going to be talking about. I think a question came across: what does an average deployment timeline look like? So I guess that's what we're going to cover right now.
Right. So as I indicated, we're offering this demo that you just saw, the pre-configured demo, for a free trial. And we're going to show you how to access that free trial in a moment. But we also offer it in different forms. So if the pre-configured trial, pre-configured demo that you just saw is our pre-configured SharePoint instance with some demo sites for finance, HR, sales, and marketing. If you as a customer want to see how this works in your own environment, we can deploy it in your own environment as well. So there are options for SharePoint Online or SharePoint on-premise in your own environment. We can also host this and still connect to your environment if you want us to do that option as well. Or if there's another way you want us to work with you, we're open to looking at other ways to work together. But when you come to this form, pre-configured is set up as the default because it's the easiest. There's nothing for you to install. There's no deployment. You basically fill out this form and you will get an email with a URL to access the pre-configured demo that will be specific to your organization. So we're basically creating a container that's specific to you with a URL and user IDs to access that. The way this looks is basically like this. We basically deploy our container with our demo SharePoint sites. We give you access and you're accessing this demo app that I just showed you in our environment. We give you different IDs. One will give you full access and one will give you access to only some of the sites just to show the difference in security. And that's for a pre-configured demo. For another way that we can basically deploy this is we can deploy it either as a cloud container in your environment or on premise. So basically, if we're using containers, obviously the deployment's a little bit more streamlined. So we're basically putting Unity in a container, giving it to you, and you can deploy it in your own cloud environment and link it to your own SharePoint. obviously, there's a little bit more work there than the pre-configured demo because there's zero work for you to do there to install it. But if we're doing it with a containerized approach, then it basically streamlines it. On-premise isn't difficult either. It's just a few more steps we got to go through. And lastly is the cloud version. So if a hosted version. So if you want us to host this, we can host it as well and connect to your SharePoint components. So those are the different flavors of this. And any questions before I basically show how we access it from Unity? Okay. So if I basically come over to our Unity site and I come over here and I select products and select Unity, you'll see here the Unity products page for that we have. You'll see the Unity Wheel of Fortune that we showed earlier. And if you come down to the end, you get access to this link that says Test Drive Unity 8.0. And you simply select this link, just put in some basic information about your organization, your contact information. You can leave pre-configured SharePoint demo selected. Again, we will spin up a cloud container for you, send you an email with a link to this with some user IDs and passwords. And you can also tell us what else you're interested in. You can tell us if you're interested in other content management repositories, other workflow or case management repositories. There's a licensing agreement that says you have access for free access to this for 90 days. And then you just submit the request and you'll get the email. So.
And it's nice that we offer multiple ways for deployment. This is just a kind of sample talking about a trial, but you saw earlier how this can be deployed in a number of different environments, and everyone's going to be a little bit different, whether it's on-premise in the cloud, a hybrid cloud, and no matter what your setup is, we can probably get this going for you. So I encourage everyone that's interested to take a look at the trial and really kind of put it through its paces. But I think, you know, the whole idea of this presentation today was to highlight the new features of Unity 8.0. I think we did a good job of that, but I think sometimes when we go through all this information, the ease of use gets a little bit lost. And I think we want to go back to the fact that the whole purpose of this is to provide easy access to documents and data and workflows, no matter where they are stored or where they're coming from, and then to be able to take action on that information. And then the last piece of the puzzle is the analytics. But I think hopefully we kind of gave you a flavor of what's new in Unity 8.0. And we encourage you, if you're interested, to contact us directly for more information or perhaps sign up for the new trial. But again, we want to appreciate and thank everyone for their time today. And if there's any additional questions, please reach out to us. Just fill out a form online or send us an email. We'll be happy to answer additional questions. The one actual question that came up, Rich, that we haven't answered, and this is a new one I haven't heard before, but someone that posed the question, can Unity access emails?
Yes, Unity can access emails. A lot of ECMs have capabilities, like I know IBM does, and I believe SharePoint has as well, where you can actually input the emails directly into the ECM system. In that case,
depending
basically,
on what ECM solution they use, it's not really something that we offer, but it's dependent on the ECM platform they currently use.
Correct. So we're not directly integrating with emails for searching, but if obviously if the emails are being ingested into the ECM system, we can search on the emails and the attachment just like we can search on any other document.
Okay, I know there's another question, but the user actually said it was answered in our presentation, but I want to make sure it was clear for everyone. We talked about setting up customizable views for each user. It does not impact anyone else's visibility. It's really specific to the user themselves. And I think the answer to that is yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
No, it's okay. We just had a question, but the actual—
I thought you were answering the question.
He actually said it was answered already, but I want to make sure it was clear for everyone else. We talked about the customizable views for each user when they set up the different columns and sorted things differently. That doesn't impact anyone else. It's only that specific user that has that configuration.
Correct.
Perfect. Well, again, we want to thank everyone for joining our call today. We're very excited about our new release for Unity 8.0. We know there's a lot more coming down the road, but this is an exciting release for us, and especially for some of the new features we've rolled out for SharePoint and other specific products as well. but we encourage you to try it out or contact us for more information. We'd be happy to do a kind of a tailored custom demonstration for you and anyone else in your organization. But again, we want to thank you for your time today, and we look forward to having future conversations with you about Unity 8.0. Thanks, everyone.